against what the man can provide as far as security, but I think that now it's wise use of the money is to have the sheriff cover it.
We're actually getting 2 people for about 55 or 60.
Not commissioned, not certified. And you're also saying, you told Judge Beck that they were going to be able to stay until 10 o'clock at night whenever court's in session. That is at a additional charge to the...
Correct.
So you have an uncalculated amount above what you figured that is going to be paid. So in all seriousness, the $15.50 an hour,
Right.
I believe it is, per officer, $31 an hour for you know, a day basically, per hour that they're open. If they go to 10 o'clock, which they do often go late until the night before they excuse the jury or, you know, adjourn the court for the day, we're not taking that amount into consideration in this $55,000 or whatever it's going to cost us for this year. So
Correct.
before, the sheriff was willing to provide that service for that $49,000, and you didn't have to worry about that overtime. So again, let's just throw the old equation out there and let's put all the apples in the pie.
You're absolutely right, John. It is an old equation. We can sit here and talk all day about what was implied, what was expressly stated, but all of that is really not something. It's counterproductive to what we have to do. I have to secure a building, and I can't secure this building based on what was implied, what was said, what was suggested, things like that. We have to deal in 100% what are the facts today, February 27, 2012.
In closing, the facts are the sheriff can provide the mission for all hours that the court are in session for $49,000 a year. The facts are that the private security company can provide the same amount of security, basically the same essential security at the front door.
It will be more.
At the front door, but the amount of security that's been being provided, that the private security company can provide that for the balance of the year for roughly $55,000 a year for the balance, plus an undetermined amount of overtime.
Correct.
My major's not in math, but I'd say 49 wins. So.
Well, your major's not in logic either, apparently, because
well,
the $49,000 is off the table.
The $49,000 is where's it come from anyway? If you tried to.
Well, where's it coming from if you're paying the 55? Is the point?
You never explained the 49.
The emergency.
We tried.
Here's a clear distinction, John.
I hope so.
I can pay the security company out of the emergency fund without adjusting the budget. I cannot increase the sheriff's budget without additional income.
So you would rather accrue a maybe $25,000 increase instead of opening the budget?
It's facts. It's reality.
You can open the budget.
No, I can't. Not without additional revenue. Would you concur with that, Madam Auditor?
So we are forced to take private security over certified commissioned law enforcement because of that?
The question is whether we can open the budget or not. I think asking the auditor a legal question is a bit presumptuous. The question is, we have to have additional income to open the budget, correct? Thank you. That's the reality of it.
They can't open the budget for an emergency and put it into the sheriff's law enforcement?
To classify this as an emergency, once again, is...
Well, you did it for getting the bid, so we're going to do it for the other, too. It's not one or the other.
Well, it's our emergency now.
Okay.
Because we're responsible for taking care of the security now that the sheriff made us aware. He gave us an extra month, and we're going to take care of it.
Just the taxpayers needed to know where our money was going, and that's why I asked the question. And
very good. Anyone else?
The reason I'm here is I wanted to add to that. You know, I wanted to be here to see what kind of impact this is going to be on our city,
right,
and our officers. In the 2007-08 budget, I lost 7 men off the street, and we're making it work. But I just need to, I'll probably sit down and see, on average, how many calls come out of the lobby. And there's a lot of things that come out of that lobby. So I'm gonna have to see where it's at. And of course, we're probably 99% of the time gonna be the one to respond to that. So I need to see what kind of impact this is gonna be on our city, which I think it'll be a little bit of an impact.
It surely will.
Mm-hmm.
It surely will. Now, here's a question that has not been raised. What is the potential for these people of the private security firm to get a commission? I know I asked you, Mike, in the past, and you said it would take 6 to 8 weeks.
That's what our background takes.
Right, which we didn't have 6 to 8 weeks from the time of the question to the time that but if to maybe assuage some of Jim's fears as far as the arresting goes, what if we came to you and said, okay, here's Dave Dickhouse and his staff, what's your stance on commissioning them to take care of some of what the judges and other people's fears are?
Well, my stance would be that what signal would that give to my people that actually want to do the security over there?
Okay.
So I don't have a real stance.
You don't want to.
If I'd rather not. Let's put
Okay.
it that way. I'm not saying I don't want to. I'd rather not.
Right.
You know, I wish that this could have all been taken care of in December when I asked for that. Not to cut me $249,000, only cut $200,000. And then again, when just prior or the day of the budget, when I told you, you know, it's a sad day when everybody else gets raises and gets money and we get cut in law enforcement. You know, I wish it could have been taken care of then. I really do.
Right.
And Mr. Bass, I came here at the request of Mr. Beck just because he asked if I could be here to answer any questions.
Sure.
For you to say we've already paid 180-something thousand, that's true, but I also, you haven't paid it yet for one thing.
Okay.
The other thing is, it was in the budget, and I told you in the November, we talked about it in the December, and in the January meeting, prior to the budget being approved, I again told you then I had to cut security if I didn't get this. So for you to tell me, again, that you're paying that for security, you're not, one of those people is going over to the road where I need officers. So you're not paying it for security. The budget's going to look like that until such time that we have to adjust it. But there's so many adjustments happening in that budget already this year because of new line items that are just keep coming on. No disrespect. You need to make the accounting, I understand that. But I didn't allot for them because I didn't know that those line items were there. In fact, one hit today, brand new one. How can I budget for it? So that will all be adjusted in our November, December adjustments evidently.
Okay. Well, that's fair, Mike. To understand that the 181,000 we did in good faith think at the time written inside the budget was going to be spent at the Justice Center on security. Now, if that's...
And that's very true when I turned it in.
Okay.
But
So
the three
that's-
discussions thereafter,
Okay.
I told you I had to have more to make it.
I think where the
Go ahead.
The disconnect occurred is when the discussion took place, but the number didn't change.
The number couldn't change. I asked for that extension and Crystal Hall, the clerk, called me 2 days prior to you finalizing the budget. Now, I can't get it back from you and then turn it back in. You already made that decision to cut it. So I had to take it from where I said I was going to take it. I took the security guard, moved him to the road, or that's what will happen March 1st.
Right.
I was going to do it February 1st because I gave you all of January, then you said you couldn't make it. I gave you all of February. So that's on my budget still.
Right.
So no, I couldn't move it. I couldn't adjust it. I never got the budget back to make the adjustment.
That's a fruitless discussion at this point.
Led to the emergency.
No, I'm not even gonna, nothing to be gained from that discussion. The facts remain, we have to have private security March the 1st.
Have you voted on it yet?
No, that's tomorrow.
Sounds like you've already made up your mind.
Well, we've auditioned and discussed with a number of people. The best proposal that we've had, most attractive proposals come from Mr. Dickhouse. I asked him, you know, hey, would you mind coming up here and doing this? The next best proposal we had was from Securitas. And their intention for staffing the position was to come out here, put a want ad in the paper, and to put people at that door. That makes the decision pretty clear that the best proposal we have is from Custom Security. No, we haven't voted on it yet. That takes place tomorrow morning. But because there are limited requirements for security guards statewide, especially in Lincoln County, Securitas could have hired 2 guys and put them at that front door with very limited training. So we've not made our decision yet, but we know who has the best proposal at this juncture, and I don't think that's going to change between now and tomorrow morning. I think he's got Custom will put the most qualified people of any private security firm that we've encountered. Other firms didn't even want to fool with it. So, any more questions? Okay, Crystal, if you can orchestrate a meeting